Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another figure review. Now today we're going to be looking at the Last Jedi Princess Leia figure. Now this is a figure that I know a lot of people weren't really that excited for when it was announced. There was a lot of controversy around the face sculpt and the fact that it didn't come with very many accessories, but this being Carrie Fisher's last performance, I think this was a figure that I absolutely had to get. And obviously I'm all in on the Last Jedi line now. I've picked up Kylo Ren, picked up Rey, and a Praetorian Guard, so I think Leia was definitely one that I couldn't go without having. So without further ado now, let's get all of Leia's accessories out here and take a look at everything she comes with. Now in terms of Princess Leia's accessories, you can see that she doesn't come with a hell of a lot of stuff, and if you did catch the unboxing video, you would already know that, but the stuff that she does come with is pretty much what she used in the film, and the first thing that we're going to look at is not the display base, is going to be her blaster pistol. Now this looks to be pretty much a replica or a direct recast of the one that came with the A New Hope figure, and we will confirm that once we do the comparison video. It's just painted up with a lot more weathering, especially on the front of the barrel here. It looks definitely a lot more worn than the one that we saw in A New Hope. Now she also does come with a few different hands as well, and they're all really nicely detailed with the wrinkles and the vein work as well as the rings on there, and she does come with all of these different hands here, and they all do have the excellent level of detailing, especially with those wrinkles. I'll get it nice and close so you can see the detail on there. Very nicely done with those hands. And she does also come with this little tracking beacon piece here with a little elastic sort of strap on the bottom that you can have go around her wrist. So I just kept it in a little plastic bag so I don't lose it. And she also does come with her final accessory, being her display base. And you can see it just says Leia on the front there. It doesn't say Last Jedi, it doesn't say Princess Leia, it just says Leia. So I guess that's what we're going with now. And she also does come with this, we've seen this with a few of the Last Jedi figures, this sort of print of their face as well as their faction logo, although Leia, in this instance, doesn't actually come with any floor. Like for Kylo Ren, for instance, we got this as well as a floor piece. So it's interesting that they decided to just go with one option instead of the two options which we've been getting for some of the other figures. When we get Rey, when I get Rey in, I'm going to have to see if she also does come with the different options. But that's pretty much it for Leia's accessories. What we're going to do now is get the figure herself out here and take a look at that head sculpt. Getting a really nice close-up look at that head sculpt, you can see that I think they nailed the likeness for Carrie Fisher, and I've tweaked the lighting as well, so you get those shadows which usually the harsh lights do wash out, just so you get an idea of what it looks like in a more natural sort of setting. I know super bright white light, but I think this gives you a pretty good idea of what that looks like, and they've done a really good job sculpting in the earrings as well, and I'm very impressed with just the level of detail that they're able to put into this figure. I mean, the hair alone is just a work of art, and this is a cat hair magnet, this coat that she's wearing. I don't know what it's made out of, but cat hair is just sticking to it left, right, and center. Just, you know, not getting too sidetracked on the cat hair thing, the head sculpt is very nicely done, and so too is the robes that she's wearing. So she's wearing this outer sort of cloak section on top of these blue robes, and they're done very nicely. It's a really sort of thick sort of canvasy material, but it doesn't sort of poof out too much. Not nearly as much as like a figure, say for instance, like the Force Awakens Kylo Ren figure. That first figure had some pretty poofy robes. This one lays very nicely, and same thing with the sort of under robes. They do flow very nicely. They've done a really good job with that. Now one of the accessories that she sort of comes wearing is this bangle sort of piece which is attached to her hand, and you can see that the outfit sort of tucks under there. It's coming out a little bit, but you can sort of futz that around in order to tuck that back in, and you can see it covers up the wrist joint quite nicely, so you're getting a bit of a seamless look. In fact, you could pretty much call this figure a completely seamless figure because all the joints are hidden. You can also see that she has another ring on that hand there. I'll bring it closer so you can take a look at that. It's a little green ring there that she's wearing. We didn't really get any backstory, I don't think, on any of the rings or anything that she was wearing in the film, but she comes with all of that nonetheless. So what I'm going to do now is move the camera down and give you a look at the rest of the outfit. I do have to employ the use of this display base just because this figure is incredibly hard to stand. I will take her off now though, just to show you how the feet look. So these feet are basically these little boots, and they do allow for a decent amount of articulation. They're just high heels, which does sort of limit it a little bit, and I'll show you what they look like. You can see that there's a nice leather texture on there. They're not leather by any means, they are just plastic sculpted pieces, and you can see that she isn't wearing any sort of long pants underneath the dress. It's just the dress itself, and it does drape very nicely, like I said, with the pleats ironed in the front. Mine's got a bit of a crease there, but I'm sure I can steam that out. Now the coat itself does have a wire in the bottom, so you can get some sort of flowing poses if you want to recreate that sort of Mary Poppins-esque scene, and you can sort of pose it around quite nice. I did mention in the unboxing that I didn't think it had any wires in it, but luckily it does, because you can create a really, really nice drape effect when you do have it all posed up. I think that was really good that they did include that. And you will obviously have to work out how you're going to get this figure posed up on the display base, because, you know, she really does suit some more stoic sort of poses, and you can see that the robes do drape very nicely, so those stoic sort of poses do work very well for this figure. Now, doing a quick side-by-side comparison, you can see how this new Leia scales up to the old Leia, just in more of a dynamic pose. I tried to match the pose as best I could with this new figure, as I have with the A New Hope figure. So I think this pose really does suit the A New Hope figure, and I did steal it from a Sideshow statue. But nevertheless, these two look really, really good together, and you can have this Leia posed up in a little bit more dynamic of a pose if you want to. And I did manage to get her standing, which was a miracle. Now, these two do scale very nicely together. They are about the same height, which is really good, and we will do a full comparison video, don't worry, compared to the Hoth Leia, as well as this figure, and the Kylo Ren, and probably the Rey when she arrives as well. Might even throw Han Solo and Chewie in there and do a full sort of comparison video of Star Wars Force Awakens and Last Jedi figures. Now, as I said in the intro of this video, this Princess Leia was a must for me, and pretty much any Last Jedi fans. Now, I know there's not a lot of them, but anyone who enjoyed The Last Jedi should definitely pick up this figure. Now, there is also a reason for people who didn't necessarily love The Last Jedi to pick up this figure, and that's the fact that this is the last time we're ever going to see Carrie Fisher in this performance. I know she did record some stuff for Episode 9, I think, but in terms of actually being on set for a film, I think this is pretty much going to be her most iconic role, and it has been throughout her film career. So I definitely think that if you are a fan of Princess Leia, especially from the earlier films, this is a figure that you should consider picking up, because there is that legacy of all of those Star Wars films. And it's a really great figure nonetheless. I mean, the tailoring's really good. I think the head sculpt is really, really on point. And the stuff that she does come with, even though it's pretty limited, is done very, very well. And she'll, of course, go along with the Kylo Ren, the Rey, and the Luke Skywalker from the Last Jedi line. And also, if you have an old Han Solo figure from The Force Awakens, you can pair them up as well for, you know, that iconic pairing. So definitely a lot of opportunities to pose this figure with all of those other accompanying figures. It'll be a really, really nice display, so definitely do pick it up. The link for this figure is down in the description below at Sideshow. Hopefully they should be shipping it very, very soon. There is also a link down below for the Mint in Seal Box figure podcast that I do with King Zachary V, the YouTube channel, so definitely do check that out. The link is down below, as well as my social links for where I'm posting links and photos for upcoming figure reviews. So definitely do look into that if you want to see what's coming up next on the channel. And as always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.